Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at One Startup World, the heart of innovation and the rocket ship of a startup. I'm today delighted to have with us Kimo Gandall. Kimo has focused on an amazing idea. I think it came out of the fact that some of his peers, or lawyers' peers, I should say, have used ChatGPT-4 and bumped into some troubles. And Kimo and his team have tried to enhance this problem and to find a beautiful solution to bring to the world. So I'm going to let Kimo explain how he can use, how could we use altogether AI for the good of humanity. And I'm very excited to hear his speech, and I will be there at the end of your presentation, Kimo. The floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So we are Fortuna Insights. We're a litigation technology company. Quick on the founders. I'm Kimo Gandall. I'm a rising 2L at Harvard Law School, and I'm CEO. My two tech co-founders, Kenny McLaren, he's CTO. He currently works at Freeport Mac. And Jameson Axton, who's a software engineer at Paycom. Together, we are creating this technology. Our thesis is really simple. Litigation is incredibly expensive and incredibly risky. The tort industry alone was over $429 billion, chilling innovation and job growth. However, clients are then demanding generative AI because of this. 67% of in-house counsel reported that they expected their outsourced legal work to use generative AI, and 61% of large law firm attorneys reported they would. Litigation AI remains untapped, though. Only 6% of the current case use focuses on it. The majority of it, I'm thinking Harvey, for example, is on drafting documents, or prior case Texas co-counsel on researching generic matters. They've actually recently been purchased by Westlaw. But there's a reason a lot of firms haven't ventured into litigation specifically, and it's because of the hallucination crisis. I'm sure everyone has heard of the New York ChatGPT sanctions case. In this specific case, a lawyer used ChatGPT to write a legal brief, and it made up cases, made up citations, made up rules, made up facts, and because of that, they face sanctions. Our solution is CaseCraft. We essentially have a multiple-step process to enhance the way we generate briefs and make sure there aren't hallucinations. The first step is making sure there aren't cases or pin sites or court reporters that are hallucinated. So we have a vector database that has every single case in the country, whether federal or state, and it matches it to those cases. And then as well, we have recursive summaries of those cases built in, and then it is able to pull from those summaries to make sure the facts are accurate. Now, the second step is making sure the rule's been applied accurately. And the way we do that is we have a voting ensemble of transformer models that compare how the rule was used in one case successfully and then compare it to its current form. And then if it passes that probability threshold, the argument is returned to the human and then incorporated into the brief as part of a larger narrative classifier. We took one of our algorithms in the voting ensemble and published an open source focused on the Supreme Court with a different feature extraction mechanism. And we were able to show that we were 91% accurate. That's more accurate than any of the comparable human experts in the field. So I want to quickly show you, I have a 30-second video, how it works.
Generate live legal briefs today. Here we're putting in the plaintiff's information. We put in the basic party names. We put in the type of court, here an appellate. Then we just glue in the facts, ask for what we want the outcome to be, and then we get a full brief, including a probability analysis of a proprietary classifier.
So that is ideally how it will work. And it will give lawyers everything from comparing the risk to a full brief with arguments. Fortuna Insights business model is very simple. It's a baseline of $250 per user per month with additional fees for fine-tuned models, about $1,000 per user per month. And then there are additional fees for exceeding a brief generation maximum. which is about 30 per user. June 1st beta testers. So on June 1st, we released it preliminarily to a number of beta testers who are helping us improve the program. That includes smaller boutique firms like Cooper and Kirk. And then we also have advisors on our board from Jones Day and VNE who are helping us improve the product. And then hopefully we can translate all of these beta testers into paid clients. The scalability has enormous potential. This is a $43 billion market alone just on the baseline product. It's really quite simple. There's 449,000 potential law firms we can target and about 105,000 corporate firms multiplied by $3,000 per year. We are aiming to raise $1 million. We've raised about 200,000 so far. We have committed investor money at a $7 million valuation at a 20% discount. And what we aim to use this money is to have 100 paid law firm clients, a nationwide federal database, a nationwide state database, and we aim to achieve profitability, with the funds all going towards three basic things: making sure all the founders are full-time, making sure that we can afford Azure Compute and hosting all the models, and filling the data holes. Any questions for me?
Yeah, I saw one question from the audience, which I think it's an interesting, potentially a tricky one. Is what is the level of liability that Kimo you take when you do? I mean, first of all, I should have said before that myself, I find your tool absolutely amazing, extremely simple, easy to use. I mean, it looks like if we were wondering how we would work without it. But putting that aside, to congratulate you for this amazing application delivery. The question, I guess it's probably a lawyer behind the question asking the liability question. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so we've taken multiple steps to make sure we don't have liability. So we've worked with Harvard's Law and Entrepreneur Project, and they've given us steps to make sure the disclaimers are properly worded, they're appearing properly. So we disclaim out of that liability. And we've also hired a lawyer from Cummings & White, based in California, to help us disclose and make sure every single form we are giving to clients properly disclaims liability. And then third, we also have an insurance product disclaiming against liability, both for incorrect briefs and for unauthorized practice of the law claims. So we've covered every step here. We've consulted with multiple lawyers from multiple firms to make sure that our product is safe for the user and safe for the investor.
Okay, wow. Very clear, extremely clear. Just maybe for my understanding, when you offer this, I guess in any case, in today's world, it is the responsibility of the main lawyer, right, to ensure that whatever he is touching and submitting, at the end of the day, that's why he's hired, right? So if you facilitate access, you facilitate the buildup of the case, but at the end of the day, he's the one submitting what he thinks is right or wrong. Just wanted to ask, to come back to the case that you just mentioned, how that has until the lawsuit that came out of this, and how that could potentially benefit or affect your own company along those lines?
Are you talking about the ChatGPT sanctions or the?
Yes, the ChatGPT.
Yeah, so it's going to make lawyers more hesitant to use unproven technology. Ours is not only proven, but we've shown them we're more accurate than comparable industry experts. So it's very important to have at least part open source so that, especially in bigger firms, you can have the technology departments review how it's working, what efficiency it's working at, and kind of the steps it takes to safeguard the lawyer. And of course, the lawyers should proofread the case anyway. I think most of the lawyers I've talked to understood these guys simply didn't read the brief. They didn't do their due diligence. And if you do that, you should be protected. Right.
No, very clear. Listen, I think that your presentation is straightforward. I just see this amazing usage of AI as a positive for the first time in many cases. most of the time we are afraid of AI, and here you demonstrate how you can actually use it as a facilitator. I think there are a lot of very, very good cases, very good, I would say, use case to use AI in an adequate way. What you have just done with yourself and your team is absolutely mind-blowing. I want to thank you again. And I hope that this is going to get such a traction that we will see you again in the course of the year, because we want to follow you, monitor you, and see how you grow, because that's an amazing product that you have developed here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.